Oh, hello there. Hey guys, what's going on? Memes here. Yes, we're back. We're back. Just a little update. I think I have all the clips I need for the Spherical God Cow full talk. That should be out tomorrow. Like some of y'all will enjoy that. We're laying it out straightforward, just so that basically anybody that watches, don't trust me. Feel free to verify. Could be completely wrong. Again, I'm just a crazy person on the internet. I digress. Will I digest lunch? Something like that. But I see you there, Bill. Shoot, Bill, I'm at. Because he is a very avid viewer, and him and his wife actually put me up and gave me lunch or dinner when I was getting ready to go across to Canada. So there we go. Okay, close Discord. There we go. All right. Bring up our thingy. A little computational essay. Now I should have at least enough knowledge to at least go through this at a fairly decent rate. We're basically just going to do the same thing we did at the Wolfram Summer School, except most of it's going to be taking random tabs and stuff I have. There's all this organized from videos and putting them together in a coherent fashion. You've already done a little work on this, so share screen, boom, Higgs essay, boom. There we go. All right. So as you can see, it's Higgs mass due to the root of action. Blah blah blah. Basically, just laying out and just going through and just doing the computation. So we have all the code here for anybody that's interested in it. You can just click, get all your things there. This one. All right. Yeah. So basically, yep, it's just returning stuff from the Wolfram database there, straightforward. Interpretation, yeah, electromagnetic coupling. Okay, basically, we're just going over the whole inspiration. We did this in the other paper, but that was trying to be more of a formalized paper. This, I'm just gonna do the Wolfram voice because it's kind of how I normally talk anyway, so I can lay things out in a more straightforward, easily digestible manner, in my opinion. And then basically everybody should just, if somebody wants to, they should be able to replicate everything here. I just click the code. The the benefit of a computational essay. It's the code works or it doesn't. I know I still need to tweak some other code and some of my other stuff. Basically, we're just going over the inspiration from alpha. You can see it's this whole jazz here, this elementary charge squared over 4 pi c epsilon naught h bar, yada yada. It's all those things there. You get this number, all right. Then you look, the numerator is charge squared. It gives a dimensional slumber. This means the denominator is charge squared. Which charge squared? Oh, look, the Planck charge. So, in essence, one could computationally reduce the defined structure constant to the squared relationship between the elementary unit of charge and the Planck charge. The same number, cool, and then basically, yes, it equals one. They are this computationally equivalent. Okay, so basically, this unsquared relationship, like Professor Dick Feynman said, is basically this, the either negative or 0.0854, aka Joe 1. Most physicists prefer to think of it as 1 over 137.0359, yada, yada, yada. I don't know why. Apparently, 1 over 137 is quote unquote sexier than 1 over 11.7. I don't know. I go through, we have our citation, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so when we take the square root of all that, we get Joe 1, elementary charge divided by Planck charge, blah, 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 it's 1. Okay. And then again, so by definition, we have good agreement. Okay. So then we start going over the 17 orders of the Higgs boson mass, or some may refer to as the hierarchy problem. Why the heck is the mass of the Higgs boson so much less than the Planck mass? It goes against some of our notions as observers of naturalness. Now, again, that's an inserted thing. Naturalness means, oh, we assumed it would be about that the Higgs the Planck scale. Apparently, we were wrong. We don't know why. Why are there 17 orders of magnitude difference? Fortunately, during episode 289 of Professor Sean Carroll's Mindscape podcast, Dr. Carrie Cesarati shared that the squared value of this relationship is the real first principles number. Wait. What you're saying is it's not necessarily the Higgs mass divided by the Planck mass discrepancy. We should take its squared relationship. Ooh, that got me tingling on the inside. Because why? When we compute this value, mass of the Higgs divided by the Planck mass squared. Wait a second. This looks very similar to elementary thing divided by a Planck thing squared. Gives us a coupling constant. Wait a second. So if we take an elementary thing and divide it by another Planck thing and square it, we return a dimensionless ratio, 1.5 times 10 to the minus 34. And again, this is just from the Wolfram database. So again, it's trying to combine different measurements and be like, okay, this is generally where it is. Good for about three or so significant digits. And again, that's basically the max confidence we have. It seems to be about 125 giga electron volts. Probably a little bit more than that on the lower half, at least according to the more recent data. The data analysis is where things are going to get wild. I'll do that in a day or two. Um, Again, this shouldn't mean anything to anybody, but to a keen-eyed particle physicist, they may recognize this as the first three digits of incorrect exponential power without dimensions, the h bar, Planck's reduced constant, the elementary unit of. It's kind of cool. All right, blah blah blah. It's coincidence. We can't really say anything more about that, but so basically, we're laying out the claim here is if we entertain the idea and we assume that there might be some there, so to speak, we would hypothetically be able to leverage our n defined digits of h bar because in 2019 it was defined at 10 significant digits. We had like 12, but there was pretty large error in the last two, so they just lopped it off at 10 and say, all right, we define it at 10 significant digits. Okay. And we also have the Planck mass. It's known to five significant digits. We have seven. And again, there's some error there. I think it's 0.25, 0.35 in the last two digits there. So there's some range. But if we only really have strong confidence in the Higgs, so about three significant digits, 5 and 10 are more than three. So the claim is perhaps if there was some there, we could compute some additional digits of the Higgs mass, leveraging the more well-known constants because algebra is awesome. That's what we got. Yeah, no problem, Bill. I got you. I got you. I saw you here, and I know it can be hard to if you're not around folks that are interested in certain things or folks glaze over. They try. It's fun to talk about these things. Welcome, Poindexter. Good to see you, my friends. Welcome now. It's feels so bad. I knew you were in Portugal, and I was in Portugal. I'm sorry. Need a. There's certain places, even when I visited, was it Seattle? It was up there on the West Coast, and I totally forgot to hit up. Was it I think James or something from some of the chats. And so bad, actually. One of my friends that was also up there. It's for some reason I thought he was in like Tennessee or something. It's like, no, I'm up in Washington. I'm like, oh, like Portuguese man of physics. Oh, it's fun. All right. Well, let's go through and do our definition. So again, I'm basically just cheating. I'm just doing the same thing I did on Wolfram Alpha and just having it output the code. And I have like, I'm probably just gonna have ChatGPT kind of line it up into nice tables and stuff, and then I'll go there and I'll edit the code there to get it specifically how I want. Okay, so if we're going to do this, we're going to make the claim. Let's see. So instead of computing a relationship between the Higgs mass, we shall set this relationship equal to the dimensionless value of h bar. I should actually put the symbol here because I have it. Just I'll even be on the board. I'll write out h bar y because that's literally just how I type it in. Okay, h bar. We shall do it this way. We shall have and solve for x and solve for f. So kilograms. And we're gonna put that the Planck. Yes. And I'm gonna set that equal to h bar, entry unit of action, divided by the squared relationship between h bar and then joule seconds is the reference of action. So we're just going to solve for that. A compute, oh, enable dynamics. There we go. Oh, we can do it. All right. Oh God, it's so much better when this. I didn't download. Excuse me. I didn't download the previous update. So when I was trying to update my Unix project from the notebook, it's like it cannot call Wolfram Alpha. It cannot call the Wolfram database. I'm like, oh crumb. I have to present tomorrow. I still have a bunch of updates I need to fix. So I went onto the browser version, just did all that stuff there, and then threw it into the notebook. I know, it's terrible. It's terrible. All right, so we're going to want all of Wolfram Alpha's results. So we've got all our jazz out here. It goes with a little graph and everything. Cool. So these are things that we should probably be aware of. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get all the sub content pop out there, and then we can edit the code to get the things that we really want here. We got a little diagram. Okay. Gives us number, use the little pi thing because, well, that's the better way to deal with floating point issues, apparently, because it's something similar that Maple does, and that's actually software made for mathematics. Well, kind of like Mathematica, but okay, so we got that. Do we have all our, we should have all the stuff that we need there. Make sure it's the right units and everything. Okay, so we should just be able to take this whole thing here. Delete. Just delete out the stuff that we don't need. Okay, so now we got a whole bunch of code here. Yay for code. But what we can do here is we can just look like this. All right, so we're solving for x kilograms. Like mass is setting it equal to that. Okay, we've got all our units and everything there. Yeah, it gives us blah, blah, blah. This as well. Okay, which outputs, let's see. How many of those is it giving? Think we, let's see, one, two, three, four, five. Why is it giving us five? I mean, it's quadratic, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to, here we have a positive and negative answer to at least represent it. Would be accurate. All right. So It's negative, negative, negative. I think the last one was positive. Negative, positive. There we go. So let's have the last two. Yeah, this should run. Hopefully, maybe. Okay, okay. I think it's running now. Let's see. That is kind of annoying. Do I get it? Content. Where do we have that? We don't need that list. I feel like, oh no, we need the list. It doesn't like us for that. Time gives suggestion bar. Go. Okay. Order those. Let's go here. Sorting's really gonna work there. Let's undo. We don't need to spend enormous amount on these guys because we just need to get it. It's a easy thing. Hmm. Do edit, evaluate. Geez. I will go back and tidy it up later. All right. We just got to know now we get a positive and negative answer because that is it's a squared answer, so it could be negative, at least in this form. We're going to have another form that I have put on the shirts that I'm just assuming whatever positive mass conjecture or whatever I heard about, and I just take the square root of h bar divided by joule seconds, just multiply it by the Planck mass. And that's literally it basically gives you a 17 order of magnitude difference. And then you just multiply it by the Planck mass. And long story short, they get pretty dang good agreement. Again, it's a claim. We don't know that. We just need to continue to follow the data and everything. And data seems fairly encouraging. So that's why we're writing this. All right. Eve. Okay. We're also going to add a couple other ways to look at this relationship. I saw something the other day about calculating the gravitational force or why it's so much weaker than something like the strong force. And I'm like, whoa, that's a huge number. How did they get that? I'm like, well, let's try the electron mass. Oh, that's where it comes from. Okay, so we'll go through that and we got our information here. Okay. So this outputs this. We've got just plug this in. Oh God. Put in the data that we have. Now it's rounding there. Give what it has. 223 0 times 10 raised to the, what am I doing? It's the negative 25. 25, and that is in kilograms. Okay. Yeah, you get the kilogram output. Okay. Kilograms. And then because if Wolfram Alpha says it, it might be a little easier for folks generally of a community that I don't know. It's how much of these things are social aspects where you're like, as long as somebody recognizes something, it's like, oh, I know that person stuff. They tend to be more likely to. It's just right. I don't know. Give credit where credit's due. People have done a lot of work on this. Like, doesn't I don't know. I feel like everybody likes loves a good story. So it's you hear all these tales, and it's like, yes, Charles Schwarzschild, while working on the front lines in World War I, solved the Einstein field equations and everything while he was under artillery fire or something. It's like, I mean, that's a good story. And then you'll hear the variation. Oh, well, he went on break back to Berlin or something, and listened to one of Einstein's lectures. And then you start hearing more and more folks like, he was a really smart guy, and he was just calculating general trajectories and was never actually on the front line. I'm like, oh, so if you're not under artillery fire, maybe it's a little easier to solve some field equations. Imagine being able to think. It'd be useful. I don't know. But my thing is, I'm just gotta set up a good story. If it's a good story, and ultimately, my old man, God rest his soul, he always said, the truth is the ultimate defense. If you happen to have stumbled upon something that's fundamental, and again, I'm very biased here, but I'm pretty sure that I've run across some folks over the past couple of years, and maybe some folks watching now or temporarily in the future that have discovered very interesting things that may end up making their way into place under the general knowledge of what's going on here. Um, It, it it needs to be done in a way because here's the thing: you could literally have the answer to life, the universe, and everything if you don't have it framed in a way that people are able to easily digest as well as accept, even if it's uncomfortable. It's very often just no, no, it's nothing there. No, not just a crazy person. Again, that's why I introduced myself as a crazy person because number one, you get the objection out of the way. It's like, oh, that person's crazy. Well, they said they were crazy. Oh, well, they're wrong. Okay, that means you actually have to look at the calculations and say they're wrong. Could be, might be totally wrong. God, imagine how uncomfortable would it be if you called somebody a nut job and then other people look at the calculations and they seem to hold water. It would be quite embarrassing. Good thing I'm not a good physicist or anything, so if I'm embarrassed, I'm embarrassed. Okay, and then we need to do c squared to get energy equivalent. I'm better at remembering things with gig electron volts, especially. I don't know, 125 is 5 cubed. Yes, there we go. And I like the number 5, it's pretty cool. Okay, as we can see here, we do that, we get our speed of light squared. Okay, and it gives us this. We're not going to need all of that. Okay, we should have all the information we need there. Oh, ergs. Again, feel like it's a underappreciated, depreciated unit. Got that. Let's this stuff. Need this. Okay, don't delete everything. Reduce this stuff. Do this. No, and all this stuff here. I'm starting to realize what Echelon was talking about. I'm seeing all these JSON actions and everything. Yes. That. Oh, it got a lot smaller, didn't it? Collapsing the code behind it all. So, I think maybe we'll keep this there for posterity because there's something we can use that with. Bigger. So which query do we want? We want to want the third and fifth. third and fifth. This, we just want this. This work. Oh my God, it worked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I actually didn't know that would work. I'm going to say, oh, did we need that? But we're only outputting one. See, we're slowly learning. Collapse code. Okay, now we need third and fifth code. The first two thingies. All right. Third, fourth, and then just include the fifth. So, yeah, come on, we got our stuff there. I have no idea if this will work. Money, no whammies. I don't know if it's. Hmm, see. We got boxes, we got stuff. Eight more. We got a comma. We need a list. Get a list. Oh my God, it actually seemed to work. Take it off of a list. Give me an error. Sorry. Come on, error. Incomplete, more input needed. Ones. Don't. Duh. I mean, that shouldn't make a difference at all. Do that, take that off. Let's make it a list. List works. There we go. Come on. There we go. All right. Joules, 125.37 GeV. Beautiful. Okay. And then lists, the boson, W boson. Okay. Let me keep it as not a list. Does it really just want a list? Like it really wants a list. It is incomplete. Where do we have those? Comparison as math. I'm wondering if I just turn off this map. Will it work? Nope. Just turn it back into a list because, or I break anything else in the notebook. Feel like, yeah, there were, cool. So we have outputs. Like here, we'll probably need this. Let's give inverse Planck mass squared. So let's just, and that's also number all these things. Should I go over this now? Feel like we should just go over this now. Yeah, okay. At least get it here. So save. Often, my friend, are just say, could have about 30 of these before I'm done. Just because I've lost things before. Oh God, that's terrible. Ultimately, we are for the inverse for kilograms related to the inverse Planck mass. Kilograms squared. I can actually make that little caret now. There we go. X. There we go. Squared. Do that X. Squared related to the inverse Planck mass. This, my number. Okay. It's an inverse Planck mass. The right hand expression is the magnitude relationship between h bar elementary unit and the tool, the reference. Okay, that was a very long sentence. I feel like I should just put a period there. The right hand Yeah, that was just I have to do a lot of run-on sentences. I feel like I should just reduce that down. Inside is the magnitude relationship between h bar, the elementary unit of action, and the joule second, the reference of action. Okay, we should note here, given this construction, there is a positive and negative answer. This maybe negative mass is a thing. I don't know. It could be. Let's continue here. So, given note, it's okay. I'm not going to lie. One of the reasons I did the browsers before is because a lot of times I didn't know the question to ask, so I just scroll through a question, not really know. And at least for me, maybe it's because I got the pro version of the website. It seemed faster. The other notebooks I had before, I would compute things and would take just a little bit longer that it annoyed me. So I never really did. And then was about a week or two ago, we were calculating something about like the gravitational tug on like the moon and how like the gravitational force between the moon and sun is actually greater than the moon and Earth and everything. And I was just doing some quick calculations of Wolfram Alpha. Dugan was in a Mathematica notebook and he was doing the same thing. And it worked fast. And once I downloaded the update, I'm like, oh my God, now I can just keep everything here and actually like save it, have it be laid out, have direct commentary rather than like, here's like 32 tabs I saved like a month and a half ago that are there was a book that I remember from like the fifth grade. It was the mixed up files of Mrs. Basil E. Frank Wilder and stuff. And like she had all these records, all these allegedly historic, valuable items. But the references and how to actually find it was so hard. I feel like I became the personification of Miss Basil E. Frank Wilder. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Hold on. I'm sorry. I need to get back. Okay. Okay. Let's go back. All right. Bill is commenting. Left Higgs is just an entanglement boson. We can only ever see a Higgs boson from a nucleon, but every entanglement thing probably has a Higgs boson, but you can't measure outside a nucleon. Um, I'm not a particle physicist, Bill, so I can't say. My understanding is, at least according to the standard model, the Higgs, or more precisely, the Higgs field, is the one elementary scalar field that seems to suffuse all of our realm, whatever that may or may not be. Um, I don't know. Some people, okay, ether is a five-letter word, depending on how you spell it there. But I'm like, that if it's a scalar thing that suffuses all stuff, I mean, that kind of sounds like a medium, or I don't know. If you just want to call it a field, is the field a medium? If something is there, all if it literally is everywhere, it kind of sounds like a medium. I'm not sure I'm bold enough to make that claim. I'll make a crazier claim at some point, but I don't know. It's basically once we hit a it's weird too. All right, once we crash very basic building blocks together at basically near the speed of light squared, because it's like, all right, you got something going like 0.99999 times the speed of light, something else going 0.9999 times the speed of light. That kind of sounds like the speed of light squared there. Once we smash it together, it's like some, I don't know, just lots of elementary stuff and things, and then those things will exist for I don't know 10 to the minus 20 something seconds, and then those will decay into other things, and other things will end up decaying, and then ultimately it decays into photons, and then we measure via calorimeters or whatnot that basically see the voltage changes and whatnot, and it's even crazier than that because you've got so many events that I think they can record more now at CERN since the upgrade, but before it's I think Dr. James Beecham was like, yes, we only record one in every 40,000 incidents. You're like, that's insane. You're throwing away like almost 40,000 events. But then you realize how many occurrences they're having, and then they have software to try to account for, is this an interesting occurrence, or is this maybe what we generally expect there? So some of these decays and everything are like 1 in 10 billion or something like that. So if if you're throwing away that many events, it's like, all right, what do we keep? The interesting stuff. Otherwise, all our hard drives would fill up. So it's like, okay, I can understand that. Let's see. Whereabouts? Maybe, oh, Bill's got some interesting stuff there. Ta-ta-ta. Okay. Hey, Jax, what's going on, man? Teaching mind. You're teaching mind control? Oh, I'm not sure if I can condone that. But then again, perhaps every marketing agency might be interested. Let's see. Da-da-da. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Just stuff. We're talking about some different stuff and things during the day. Cool. Let's note a note here. It should be noted that this formulation returns both a positive and negative value for the Higgs mass. Higgs mass, because we are evaluating a, an x squared. Okay. A different formulation and avoid such a weird thing, weird thing, so to speak, but we include it for full transparency and just in case if this term is useful. There we go. Who knows? I don't know. Occasionally, I listen to a lot of stuff, usually passively, and occasionally there's some keywords, oh, something like that. It's like, oh, well, maybe there was another anti or a negative or the supersymmetric part or something like that. I think supersymmetry is the case. Does that mean we're in an unstable state? There was something about the top quark where if it was, I think, too much over 173 gig electron volts, I think maybe like 273 and a half or 173 and a half, 174-ish, something like that, where literally we are in an unstable thing and maybe the whole vacuum will collapse. That sounds like a bad day. We seem to be right in the quote unquote metastable part or whatever. And we'll go over it. And one of the reasons I'm doing the computational essay is because I think a lot of times people try to submit so much at once. And it's like if you're trying to submit so much at once, there might be some good things in there. But then if you have some more speculation that's not as firmly grounded, maybe it won't get accepted. Whereas a computational essay, it's like people can comment and everything and give me, yeah, but that's the big thing. You want feedback and stuff and see if there's a smarter person out there that can kind of like help you try to figure out what's going on. Because that's just humanity. It's like we're social creatures. We collaborate. It's like Occasionally, there may be some individuals that can go out there and create a log cabin all by themselves, do all this, create a blacksmithing forge, or like now building their own castle and stuff. It's enough trouble building a sandcastle before it falls over. So, God, I need other people's help. Got a terms there. Cool. All right. So, and that equals to 0. I don't think the solving expression. Okay. So, actually put again, this is just all from just numbers on Wolfram Alpha, or the Wolfram knowledge database, and yields a yields a the Higgs approximately. Okay. Mhm. What did I do? Did something wrong. Not a text line. There we go. Mass of the Higgs, blah blah blah, is the electron volts. Take its weighted mass equivalence. Cool. I think this over here. Plain step by step. Okay. Here's the Higgs mass of blah blah blah. How many gig electron volts? Okay. Going with the positive and negative aspect. Cool. Here, delete this. Boom. Take this. Sorry, that's just messy. Okay. Cool. We've gone over the negative energy. Save. Save to cloud. Probably also publish this to cloud. Well, just because somebody wants it. Publish to cloud. Yes. Anybody wants it? Here's the URL. You go. That is also one of the benefits. It's like, all right, let's just put some stuff out there. We'll see what happens. And All I know is some of those LLM agents and stuff, just scraping the internet, they do a good job about some things. They have a lot of data info. I just saying this because it also data scraped about the Physics Monastery, and it had a very nice definition. I'm not gonna lie, it was sounded very nice. Like, wow, it described it better than I would. Place to do some science and try to figure out what's going on. Hmm. All right, Nuno, you take care, my friend. We'll see you. Uh, God, IT. Here's the thing. You say that, Jackson. I listened to some Echelon stories, and it's when I was first introduced to Echelon, there was literally a meme of like one getting fired from jobs, and you're like, oh God, was this guy a bad programmer, or was it more like he was a good programmer and like he cared? So he's like, maybe we should write our own code and be like software engineers. And a lot of folks just, oh, there's open source. We just click paste. We just click paste and stuff. I mean, that's fine for a lot of applications. I mean, if you're trying to do something really innovative, like I don't know, being able to jump from a browser to a like a flash game or something like that, and have it be a near seamless transition, there might not be code that exists for that yet, and you might need to do it itself. And I'm sure that's totally not the reason he was fired from places because he did things that made people's jobs more difficult. A long story short, he's like, there's some pretty good folks there. And when I actually started going through an issue, it's like I realized they had no idea what I was talking about. They were able to do their job and stuff. So I don't want to extrapolate or anything there. There are a lot of great folks in many industries out there. And I just, I worry occasionally about how many folks are just kind of going through the motions. I think it was like Pope Pontus II that said, if only humanity knew with how little knowledge the world is actually run. Much has changed. I don't know. All right. Da, da, da. Uh-uh. Oh, yeah, people get all different perspective. Okay. So we did this. Okay, so we're going through. We should actually make this its own. What we're going to do is make this. No, we got to do this for another sec. No, no, right. And then if we have that, let us conjecture ahead. Yeah, there we go. Computing the Higgs mass via knowledge. There we go. I mean, that's a nice term, and it seems to be accurate. Wolfram Knowledge Engine. Wikipedia might be a knowledge base, but yeah, it kind of is like a computational Wikipedia in a way. Not Wikipedia, it's not a search engine, But I mean, you can search it, or at least the computational universe. So this is just going to be everything straight from the knowledge engine. We're going to go through the second formulation. That's using the inspiration technique. Okay, that's the working because there's another way to do it. And people may find this very interesting. Is the basic technique. Okay. Using this technique, technique, a re and a cursory value of two, two percent to the minus 25 kilograms, or about 125.37. We go. Hmm. I didn't do the little thingy. Not that I need it, but okay. The electron volts. Squared. Oops. The technique two. Long story short, we're going to do basically the same thing, just a slightly different way. Yes. How do we go about this? Here's the part where I pull up a bunch of tabs from everything before. Start playing my animations again after about an hour. Okay, so where are yes, any tab to this bookmarks? Oh God, my poor bookmark manager. Uh, the I have certain levels of speculative stuff. There's stuff like okay, You see a simple relationship, you evaluate, you look at the data, okay, maybe that could fit in there. Might be slightly plausible, but then it's like this as it will go and I'm gonna let folks know it's like, all right, we're getting really far off the farm here, so to speak. We're literally out where Darby Dragons now. Certain things like this initial calculation is pretty straightforward. At least to calculate how it would actually fit in, I feel like it may be telling us something about mass and action, seeing as even H bar has a term, basically a Planck mass term in it. Because was if you just do H bar, you're going to get most of the about 5 to 7 digits of it if you just take Planck mass times the Planck length squared, so the Planck area, so it's a mass area, and then just divide by Planck time. You get here 1.01 times 10 to the negative 34 joule seconds, or joules divided by frequency. That's another way you don't hear about quite as much. That might be a little bit more telling. Energy per frequency. Right. Sorry, I'm going through. Uh, limits, big C, blah, 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 big G. Okay, there we go. All right, open up. New window. Oh, God. Randomly opening 25 tabs. I still remember opening a website about them back in the day. Oh, it's got a cool picture of something. One line row of pixels. Two rows of pixels. God, so spoiled in many ways. Let's see. There we go. Let's take errors. Oh, do this one. All right, boom. What are we doing? All right. Well, this is the tab thing that came up. Oh God, what am I doing? I just don't feel like looking at myself. All right. We get the Planck charge, blah blah blah. Okay. Elementary charge divided by Planck charge. Okay, so this is oh, this was calculating the dimensionless okay, that was what it ended up being. Oh, this was converting it. I think this give us volts. All right, squared. And what is the square root of this? Okay. Bunch of emus. Anything else interesting? Isus. 5.39. All right, that's kind of close to that's like the first three digits of the Planck time, but that deviates there. In like 3.931. Hold on. 391. Okay. So it does deviate. All right. Just checking. Okay. So then that gave us, because it was current squared. All right. So we're not going to do this one because this is, I mean, this really isn't all that straight. I mean, that is one way, but that's still kind of convoluted. Just looking at all the ways you can calculate it. God, about 1 angstrom. That's a weird thing. Dividing the cosmological constant, what do we get down to? Basically 100 angstrom. Yeah. Okay, that's gonna Planck power, blah blah blah. Okay, so Planck momentum versus Planck power. All right, that's Planck spring constant. Again, those are just literally just dimension hopping right there. God, I probably shouldn't have even shown this. This is just far too confusing. If I'm, oh, okay, that was how we started getting to the electrochemical equivalents, and then I don't even know where I got that. Huh? That's interesting. I do. 1.6, 1.9. That 1.9 was the other term, because that is coming out to be 0.197. 0.197. Yeah, back of it. Momentum. Uh, Momentum squared. Well, that would mean that this should be momentum. Okay, that's the reciprocal meters of the Planck momentum. Uh, Kilograms second. Okay, so that's mass flow rate. Okay, so it's actually not the Planck moment. That makes sense. Or let's just do this. Okay, where do we go? More jewel, black body stuff. Okay, the black body. We start on that. This is a very interesting thing. Dimensionless H bar. No insert. Dual second. I think that's what we just opened up, right? Basically, go back. We did close that, so God, so many dang things. Uh, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do, literally gonna do it live because it was from Physics Explained. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Uh, let's see. Hold on. Let me be a good host here rather than just playing all these things that you can't even hear. All right. Let's see. Tab.
Yet every point could still hide a tiny circular
Don't
direction
don't
that we
don't, don't
cannot
mind my
describe. These are
background anime
complex
music.
dimensions, spatial
Helps
directions
me
that are curled
focus.
up too small to detect directly, but
Bring this
still
up. Let's
capable of
make this to a
influencing the quantum behavior of
better
particles. What makes this more than mere speculation is that some
quality.
of our most ambitious
Here we go.
theories, such as
All right. Search. Gravity. It's already there. Oh wait, it's right. This might be the wrong video. Gravitation. Okay, this might not be the right one. It goes over. Where is it? Literally big G mass of an electron. This is this is one of the problems. Let's do a lot of things passively, so I'll hear these things and occasionally just check back. Yeah. This is an interesting thing. I had this for part of my project. Winding numbers, winding numbers. Okay, I think it's the previous video. Okay, definition of Buck Labials. Personally, I think this
Wondered
is
whether we can
a great channel. That's my personal opinion. I believe he actually is a chap in the UK that does teach physics and does it in a very straightforward process, just laying out each thing at a time. This is the one. At least gravity or gravity related things seem to be in the transcript. Additional constant G, blah, blah, blah. So now he's framing in form of an electron. That's how he's relating it.
photon approaches the electron, this effective mass produces a tiny gravitational field pulling on the electron. Now, exactly the same conclusion.
Okay, it's the Planck
Nature sets
mass.
an ultimate limit to how finely space can be resolved. And this result is truly remarkable. From two completely different arguments, one involving black hole collapse, the other rooted
Additional
in quantum measurement and the
acceleration.
generalized uncertainty principle, we reach the same conclusion. There exists a
25.
smallest meaningful length in nature, the Planck length. Below this scale, the very concept of distance, and with it the classical notion of space-time, ceases to have operational meaning. So where does that leave us? Well, we appear to have reached an operational boundary. To see smaller, we must use higher energy, but near the Planck scale, the attempt backfires. General relativity predicts collapse into a black hole, while the generalized uncertainty principle shows that delta X stops shrinking and starts to grow.
Fine.
It's not that quantum mechanics or relativity are wrong, it's that at Planckian scales, quantum effects and gravity have to be treated.
Do this instead. Force of gravity. Yes, that's might be kind of misleading, but because it's not a force, it's the curvature of space time, whatever that may or may not be. Uh, One and two, blah blah blah. So we can literally all we're doing is just using the R squared law. I think that might be what it is. We can right around. Sorry, 10 to the minus 43 or 45. No, those are Planck units. Uh, Energy stuff. Okay. Was at the top right, I believe. God, annoying. It's in the video from 3 weeks ago. Ah,
E to the 6.
okay. I think quantum gravity was the actual topic. All right, let's see. This should be the one. Okay. Oh, look, the number known as the fine structure constant, 1337. Don't don't mind me. These little idiosyncrasies are the things that get me. Oh, dimensionless client structure constant. So I think it's around here.
There exists a
Energy
special
needs to be
combination of
fat.
constants, h bar, E divided by EP,
Okay,
all
so
squared.
energy divided by energy
And
squared.
this is what we were looking for. This is the gravitational coupling strength. But something truly shocking has emerged. Unlike the fine structure constant in QED, which stays small and only changes very slightly with energy, the gravitational coupling grows as E squared.
The Planck
That
energy
means
squared
that
is
as we
very
push to higher and
large.
higher energies, the coupling strength grows rapidly. If, for example, we consider
So
LHC
it
collision
basically, if
energies
you
of
take
order
energy, you
10 to the
divide
power of
these by
4
c
gigaelectrons,
squared. So long story short is you take we could take energy divided by energy. Oh, look, wait a second. This this form of something. Got a thing divided by a Planck thing, all squared. Isn't that interesting? Can't make this stuff up. So we take hold on, electron mass, c squared, so we get its energy. All right, we divide it by the Planck energy. We square the whole expression. Yeah. Okay, and then we got the effective gravitational force. So if the strong force is one, and the electromagnetic coupling is about 1 over 137 for its strength, that's about 10 to the minus 2 or 3. This is 10 to the minus 45. It has a fairly small mass compared to the Planck mass or Planck energy. So we should just be able to redo this whole thing. So uh, electron mass, we don't need c squared. Cool. Don't think this is. Well, I mean, you put in the Higgs mass there. This is literally what we just did. Okay. There's another way to do this. Hold on. There was this. I want to say the right words and not just be like, oh, look, here's some dimensional hopping and stuff. I think he has it another way too. Here's the fine structure
the
constant.
simplest single photon exchange diagrams. Those
Yay.
proportional to alpha squared include two photon exchanges or one loop
Yeah,
corrections,
loops.
and higher powers
Loops.
correspond to increasingly complex processes.
These are
And here is
normalizable,
the
blah, blah,
crucial point.
blah.
Next, if we multiply both sides by r, we find VR equals gm squared. And we see that both
It's an
the
energy
left
times
and
length
right
and
hand
form of.
sides have units of energy times
There we
length.
go.
And so, just as we did with QED, we can
Energy
form a
times length.
dimensionless constant by dividing the right hand side by h bar times c.
H bar C. It was one of the things that we noticed. It's bending stiffness in standard standard parlance, so to speak. Because what is it? The Wolfram Alpha does most of the hard stuff here. One H bar C reduced constant. Even interesting when you see 548.14 yada yada image B potential constants. What the heck is that? Basically four fine structure. You multiply it. Yeah. They're doing 1 over 137. I think it's 1 over 4. It's 137 approximately. If you divide this by 4, you're going to get basically the fine structure constant. Random thing there. It's interesting. There's deeper stuff there that I don't know, but it is interesting. So we got this. That's known as bending stiffness, or inverse distance potential coupling constants, contact density, image potential gradient, and energy gradient. Well, that's interesting. Let's go with the bending stiffness of reality. That sounds pretty cool. So what do we do over here?
In this way, we can define the dimensionless gravitational constant, alpha g, as gm squared divided by h bar c. And
Hmm.
then, for the case of two electrons, we find a value of 1.75 times 10 to the minus 4.
Okay, so here's a different method. Basically, it's we're doing the same thing, but the benefit is if we claim that the Higgs mass should be basically scaled by the root of action, or basically the dimensionless square root of h bar, and then we just multiply by the Planck mass. If we assume it's at that number, some interesting things seem to happen. So we'll get into that. We have that, so what do we have big G, and we take our mass square term. We're going to do big G, the Newtonian gravitational constant. Take the Higgs mass squared. That's, yep, mass squared. All right, and we're going to divide by h bar c. Actually, let's do electron mass. Make sure we actually have it right first. They have 1.75 times 10 to the minus 45, 1.75 times 10 to the 45. Cool. That's at least working. See. And we throw it, change this. All we're going to do, Higgs mass. Okay. Oh, looky, lucky. We get the same number there. That's that's kind of cool. What happens when you put the Planck mass here? Oh, look, you get one. Because big G and h bar c are the exact same, except big G has the Planck mass in the denominator. Since big G has the Planck mass in the denominator, and h bar c, h bar has it in the numerator, but now it's in the denominator. That means there's 2 units of mass. Planck mass is in the denominator. So you take the Planck mass squared in the numerator, it gives you one, aka the strength of the strong force at the Planck scale. But we go back to the weak force scale. Oh, okay, we seem to be getting the root of action. Is one more little way. And which one was it again? Oh, God. I feel like another way. Magnetism over G.
The gravitational coupling between two electrons and take the ratio, we find that electromagnetism is about 10 to the power of 42 times stronger at low energies.
I mean, that's kind of amazing. Energy. Okay, I think it just goes through all the Planck units. Okay, then he just reduces it. Okay, so that's basically what we did there. We basically just used the first form and just noticed that, oh, look, hey, look, at this magnitude, this appears to be the case. So, and I get three significant digits. What are you going to do with that? That's why, as we're going through, we're analyzing. Yes, we are conjecturing. Do we know this? No. Might it potentially be in quote unquote Occam's razor, so to speak, for what's going on? Maybe. What was the other way that I found that? Don't mind me. Just literally take structure constant. Let's just do the exact same thing. What's the way that we got it out? Get this other. Oh. Okay. I think I remember now. All we do. We're opening up all our tabs again. Gah. See if there's anything. Dimensionless. We need to add that in. All right. Force voltage. All right. Go for the simplest dang thing we can do. Planck momentum to the energy. Meter. That's not the best argument for 1 joule second. Acceleration. All right. Well, that was the other thing there. Divide by. It's knows about that. GV. All right. Blah 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 blah. Okay. And, okay. Mass per charge. Oh God. Don't think. Okay. Let's let's just do the naive thing. Start off. Elementary chart squared. By by 4 uh, H bar C electric. Uh, All right, so we got that. Let's just do one thing at a time. Higgs mass. Well, this isn't going to make any sense because, well, it's giving you all those dimensions, and to be fair, it's got an electric thing, and then you got a mass term there, so it's an electrochemical equivalent. Oh, okay, I think that's where maybe our other term came from. Okay, so go back. We got here H bar C 4 pi. Let's figure out the 4 pi because that's actually the Planck charge there, or at least that with the electric constant when you take the square root of that, all that jazz. All right, milligrams per coulomb. Okay, maybe we did a different constant. Constant. Could we put in here about hmm, pick up like that? Okay. How about over the Planck? Okay. How about this? Throw G in there. Ultimately, if we do 1 over G, we're going to get the same thing, original expression, because now we're literally just doing this. Yeah, Higgs mass squared. If we just put in the Higgs mass there. So yeah, that we take this whole thing and H bar into it, like we get 1 joule second. Okay. Oh, this is the claim because when you compare these, you're going to end up getting out 1. So another way one might be able to do this. I literally did this the other day. I'm gonna have to go back to, yeah, I think that's all we needed from that. I need to go back to my own channel. This is terrible. God, it's recommending my own stream. How embarrassing. No, hey, nerdy, K-Shell. I'm sorry. Neo-disestablishment. Arianism. Ah. We're going to include the fine structure cons. To be fair, it's... Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm going back. I'm so behind. Well, Neo, um, this was basically all inspired by Alpha. Hold on. I should probably actually stop sharing that one. I don't know. Where are we? There we go. All right. So basically, all we did was we literally took the inspiration from Alpha, because you got this expression right here for Alpha. That's its basic definition. All these very important constants in nature lead to the electromagnetic coupling. They're going down enough Wolfram holes eventually, and again, this is a known thing. I have heard other people say this. You can computationally reduce this whole thing because it's a dimensionless number. But you look, you're like, wait a second. It's a dimensionless number, regardless of whatever the bottom jazz is. It's like, this is charge squared. Charge squared, according to Wolfram Alpha, at least, has no dimensional significance unless it's related to something else. We don't have you could say charge squared, but it's what is it? Wolfram Alpha has like over 10,000 different units and it doesn't have an interpretation. So, but that would mean that if it gets a dimensionless number, the bottom must be charge squared. What is it? That's the Planck charge. So you can reduce the whole thing computationally to elementary charge divided by the Planck charge. That will give you the amplitude of the fine structure constant. And when you square it, you get the fine structure constant as we know it, aka the electromagnetic coupling. Okay. Well, when you divide those terms, blah, 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 you get one. And perhaps simply thinking elementary charge divided by Planck charge, that dimensionless ratio is basically how Professor Feynman liked to think about it, and was basically Thad's inspiration for going about to try to solve the hyperbolic partition equation. And he got really close. He's like, it looks like I need to subtract out a lambda. What might that be? And seemed to have the correct magnitude and first digit or so of the Planck mass. So, okay, let's put it in there, and it seemed to match to about one sigma for the Berkeley 2018 measurements. And again, there are new measurements there, and even the team that I think that is weighing the co-data recommendations right now. When you actually read their paper, I think it was back at the end of 2023 or something. They even said it's like, listen, at that time, like we have 5.5 sigma difference from Berkeley's measurement. We don't know why. There'd be a little something interesting going on with how we perform these experiments, kind of like the most glaring version of this is actually the neutron that I found out from my friend Kali. Hi, Kali. Basically, what she told me is basically when a neutron gets out of like a nucleon, or basically gets out of a nucleus, if it's chilling on its own, after about 14 and a half minutes it decays, which seems kind of weird because like a lot of things, if it's an elementary particle that's unstable or whatnot, it seems to decay in like 10 to the minus 20 seconds. The neutron, it, 14 and a half minutes is a pretty macroscopic thing. That's like over half an anime episode right there you could watch. Um, but the even more interesting part, perhaps, is depending on upon how they perform the experiment, there's a 10-second difference. Now, again, 10 seconds, not a huge amount of time to observers like us, but it's a heck of a lot longer than the minus 22 seconds for something to decay. Why? Hmm. I think that's one of those unsolved mysteries that might give us a little bit more inspiration into what's going on here. So, so let's Continue here. Where are we? Go over here. And you even listen. Here's the thing. It's like, of course, you want to be honest and open and transparent. The thing is, I see a lot of what's going out there, and again, I'm just a random crazy person on the internet. But I look at the paradigm. I look at what the incentives are, and I'm like, well, if the incentives are to do this, and many people are doing that, what if? And again, I'm guilty of that as well. But I'm like, if we keep doing the same thing and we keep complaining about the results, what if we literally just did an inversion? I'm like, what if I did the opposite of these different things? And rather than saying this is obviously the term will help solve the Lagrangian of our world, the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I worked corporate sales for a decade. As long as you say something with just passion and conviction, a lot of folks will just do business because they might not even hear the words like, oh, that person seems confident, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I throw on a suit jacket, a tie, I cut my hair, I shave my beard, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, just another corporate guy. I spent decades doing that. So it's, eh, but it's just you point out your flaws. That's the thing. It's if you can put your flaws right out there, number one, you're not hiding. So people can't accuse you of hiding them. They might still accuse you of hiding them, but then you just go back like, well, we said this before. And if you actually had done an analysis of all the things we presented, you would know that we said, oh, there's a high sigma disagreement for this or that. Now, perhaps that's a major problem. Again, there are red team steps you can do to easily make it go away, but I think that difference there might actually be significant because hypothetically, if deep down how we computed these different things going back, and there was, I think, Shiloh and Anastasia from the Demystify Psi podcast, they had, I think it was the gentleman from the Inductica channel. Now, I may not always agree with everything he says because, well, I agree with what everything that anybody says, including myself. Sometimes in the same conversation. But what he says, I think we should go back and do a lot of these experiments with more modern technology and just verify them. It's like a fantastic thing. I mean, it's not like an experiment we did 100 something years ago. With more modern technology, we may get surprising results. I mean, oh gosh, oh geez, I mean, that would be terrible. Imagine if we had to go back and rewrite like so much of physics. God, that'd be a lot of work. I mean, it's, unless some folks have already been doing it, but I digress. All right, let's get back to. Oh God, where is this? Uh, let's just go by gravitational constant. Okay, let's just do that big G formula. We'll do the big G and then we'll do the squared formula. The squared formulation is very interesting because putting it, since we have a coherent system, you start seeing different numbers that pop up that you start to recognize. So let's take the what are we doing here? Gravitational offset. Screen, boom. There we go. We got this here, and we got this here. All right. So take our let's take the strength of the gravitational constant. So another tech. So we got that. So now a second technique we can utilize is is the method for calculating the gravitational calculating. This might just be a generic here. We can utilize the technique we can utilize is the method for the calculating the rotation. does he put it? And this is the gravitational proportion relating the the effective. I'm gonna put this in quotes. I'm not sure there's an actual definition. Effective force magnitude. So to speak of a given mass. The gravitational constant big G. So an example. So, example. Example, yes. Oh, we compute the magnitude of the wrong force. We compute the magnitude of the strong force using the following expression, where G, the Newtonian gravitational constant. Let's see. So P is the Planck mass. P mass. R is the elementary reduced constant, elementary unit of action. Bar reduced constant. And the speed of light in you. I feel like I should put a quotes around vacuum. There we go. Hey, we want to be open and transparent as much as we can. It's like what this is how it's defined. What do you want to do? Argue with it? I mean, maybe. Yeah. Okay, so let's throw this in here. So throw expression. Go to well from alpha for full results. Now it's going to spit out all this different information. Now we just pick and choose all the things we know. That's like that. One, of course. Now again, it's just people learn all different things. It's just one human being can only know so much, and it's just you kind of need to. There's a reason why there's a lot of specialization in things. It's just sometimes I feel like, and people know this, like the cross-disciplinary approach when people are like, all right, well, these folks are working on this. What could I do? One of the greatest examples was when I think it was like 30 or 40 years ago, where was it? I think C.M. Yang had done some calculation. I forget whether he was coming at it from the mathematical or the physics route. But long story short is him and Jim Simons ended up coming up with like the same. the same answer to something, and they're both like, I have no idea how the other person calculated this all. It's like it just but they came upon the same thing. So it's good to know kind of how people came about the certain things, because then maybe you can see some patterns. And shout out to Gareth, who I called Garrett the whole time in Portugal, but he does have the channel See the Pattern. He does bring up some interesting coincidences and perhaps flaws in our models. And if we believe our models are strong, they should be able to stand up to scrutiny. And we shouldn't have to just evolve into ad hominem name calling. If people want to, then go get in the ring, because if they're consenting adults, they should be able to engage in mortal combat and the doctrine of bodily autonomy. See? It's a very simple answer. And of course, that's what it always boils down to. Yes, yes. My opinion is we either can have substantive change to the system or legalize dueling. I think both will fix the system naturally. So let's finish up this last part. It's coming up to 6 p.m. hour in Mountain Time. If okay. Save as our fifth notebook. Higgs essay. Okay, the one thing that gets me about the Wolfram thing is that they'll put in random folders that kind of seem to disappear. Probably not a Wolfram issue, it's probably a Mac issue. Hey, example. You take blah blah blah. Following expression. We compute the magnitude of strong force using the following expression, using the Planck mass. It just has an expression using the MP Planck mass. 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 Using this mass term. Okay. We return. We return 1. We return 1 for the general. I'd be wrong about this. I have to double check. I have to go through the citation, but it's generally strong force is viewed as a 1. Got to be a little bit more. I think I may have seen. We turn 1 for the general colloquial magnitude of the strong force. Okay, we got that there. Example 2. Do this. Example 1. Example 2. Example 2. If we compute the magnitude of the actually, this is the gravitational force. The gravitational force using the following magnitude of the gravitational force using following expression and plugging in and plugging in the like masses. Plugging in the electron mass term. Okay. We earn a magnitude approximately 10 to the 45 times. Actually, we can just plug this in. Just do this silly thing. 1 divided by very small number. Oh, kind of close to Planck time. 44 magnitudes different. Is that 4 Planck forces? I wonder. Hold on. Remind me. 4 Planck. Nope, it is not. That is magnitude. Magnitude, approximately 10 to the 44 less the strong force. Okay, put. Okay, so God, we need less digit. Two digits. There we go. All right, much better. Oh God. Actually being able to correct something without taking hours and losing your mind is probably valuable. Yeah. Now we can output this pod content, subpod content. We got some computable data here. Okay. Digits. Cool. Earn yields. Return a u of minus 45. The u of the force. The force is thus a magnitude of 10 to the 44 times less strong. Strong force is thus times stronger than gravity. Stronger than the, the force, quotations, Okay. Save, and now we've got all that. Now we can actually do our thing. All right. Oh, example one. Example two. Okay, now that in. Results. And that. We got that. Okay. Content. Then. Okay. Oh, example three. Next to in examples, we compute the magnitude of the gravitational force using the following expression, plugging in the electron, the Higgs mass, excuse me. Higgs mass term. Thing. Again, the first three digits corresponding exponential power of the elementary unit action bar. Blah, 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 blah. At Higgs, yep. H bar. Conjecture. Okay. And let's just show how we can get to joule seconds, because ultimately, to the reader certainly has questions as this technique yields a dimensionless number, but the elementary unit of action as units. Typically, H bar, that up here. I put these on the table at some. Okay, so we have all here. Mm, mm. Okay, so that gives mass, length, and time. Typically, mass, length, and so time. Okay, that. Okay. A naive, so to speak, would be to divide this result into the elementary unit of action. Let's do that. Literally just kind of wait. Goodbye. All this jazz. Okay. Boom, boom. Wolf alpha results. This gives us the okay. Oh, that's just right up there, there, giving us what we want over there, and we are all the way back to 1 joule second. That, this, mm, that close this guy. Ah, see, it's getting here. That opened it. Oh God, well, open something. Really? Oh, why is it hiding it that way? Doing the opposite. And then So why is this just not returning the normal thing? Be all we need. Was it before we actually got it? Oh, same thing. Oh, blah blah blah. We should just need. Oh God. Wolfram Alpha quit. Oh no. Okay, so we got units of action H. We just need to go. Okay. Hit example. An example two. All right. Example three. Text. Gravitational force using the following expression, putting in the Higgs mass, a mass term. Almost done for the day. Enable dynamics. Turn. The same thing. And that. There, we can just close this up so we don't get confused like last time. All right, boom. There we go. We have that. Okay. Okay, so as in our previous technique, relating the Higgs Planck masses, we return the same corresponding three digits, three digits of, and name first three digits of, and corresponding exponential power of the elementary unit of action. Oh, wait, we already did this. Okay, so now we're going to do the hack. Okay, so if we naively use, we use a naive, it's totally naive, naive. So to speak, we can divide the elementary unit of action h bar by our expression okay, so what we do is this. All right, do this, boom. Built. Okay. So that's like that. Okay, dimensions. Wow. I see it loading. So now we should have dimensions. All right, there. Dimensions, yep. Interpretation, yep. We've got our unit corresponding value, which a lot like one might be a good sign. And here's actual magnitude. So basically, this is just showing that this is the basically inverse reduced Planck's 9.48 or 47 or something. It's don't ask me how I recognize that, but you go down enough Wolfram holes, and things just kind of at you. We should have our terms. We should have our code. Sure, we have all our stuff. So it's not seeing the B here. Let's close that code, code, code. There we go. All right. That's a lot neater. Okay. This guy, these guys. Constant. Okay. Okay. Cursory investigation. The from ledge engine returns a value of 1 the dual cent is the reference for in which H bar is scaled by. Reference of that with which H bar scaled via. I don't want to say bi just because that's, I don't know, something about not supposed to have like a preposition or something at the end of a sentence. That's just still sticks with me a little bit. It'll be a, all right. In regards to, in regards, I'm sorry, wordsmithing. In this instant, like previous pull where we simply inserted the dual ins term, we put it or something looks like it via dividing expression by the same elementary unit. Okay, well, that sounds pretty good. Save, save to cloud. Gamma, big money, no whammies. SSA, save and publish. Cloud, and we'll drop it down here. Don't publish to cloud. Or publish to cloud. There we go. Would confuse me. Huh? There. Did it do it? Again. There we go. All right, let's make sure that it works. All right. It works. Toss this in here so anybody to have it, and then we can go in and just plug this in, or we'll stream edit video. Right, buckle up as we conjecture ahead. Current. No. All right, boom, boom, there. All right. And save. All right. So it's been put in the chat. It's been put in over there. All right. Where are we? Can't put in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A lot of this, again, it's not a working session. So, blah, 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 blah. Back and forth, sharing stories, some people venting over humanity. Where are we? Was it there? Oh my God, so much, so much. Oh, hey, awesome one. Good to see you. The Higgs egg. I don't know. Is that where cows come from? Mortal Higgs. What is it like to be a spherical cow anyway? I don't know. Probably. No. Chick-fil-A is delicious. Okay. Who knows if I'm dead or alive? It's hard to tell sometimes. Usually me in the morning. Uh, so funny story, Neo. Had a guy come by the most recent Physics Monastery meeting, and again, could just be a trick. but it looked like he was factorizing large numbers and what to observers like us would be polynomial time. Like he had enter and less than half a second later, he had like the factorization of like 10 to the 200 or something. I'm like, all right, my first test. Can you do something Wolfram Alpha can't do? Wolfram Alpha quickly factorized things up to about 10 to the 50. Once I got beyond that, it would say there were divisors and it would just time out. So I'm like, let me use my pro computation time. Click, 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 that time's out. So at least the cursors, and again, I didn't check to make sure they were right or anything like that. I'm just like, all right, you appear to have done something that Wolfram Alpha cannot do. That's interesting. That's first test one. Um, Again, that does not mean that P equals NP because the general consensus is, oh, P almost certainly must not equal NP. However, just in case if P did equal MP, I think that would supercharge our computational skills and we could really level up a little bit faster for most all of humanity. So that's about all we got. But that's about all for now. Thank you all for joining me as going through this working session. Hopefully, trying to get this at least finished up in its at least formative first version by the end of the week, and should have that first full talk out by tomorrow. So, with that said, you all take care of yourselves now. It's a wacky and wild world out there, but it's open for a better tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.